Hi everyone, and welcome back for another video. Just a quick one today because in our clan we've been having a bit of a chat this morning about the new Forge Pass and generally about spending money in Raid on the whole. Now, I mean, this just applies to me, maybe it applies to other people, but I'm not a huge fan of actually spending money on things that aren't guaranteed, and this is in life, this is in Raid. When it comes to shards, whilst I really enjoy the rush of pulling a sacred shard and finally getting that legendary that you really want, or pulling a primal and finally getting the mythical, 9 times out of 10, and that's being generous, you're not going to get anything. And that leads to a sort of inevitable regret and disappointment because, you know, ultimately you feel like you've wasted money. However, for those that do spend, there are certain places that you can put money in this game, which I think do come with more of a guarantee. And that basically led us into the current Forge Pass. Now, before I quickly touch on that, just because I think it's a bit of a toss-up as to what is the best value in Raid. And I think, firstly, I would actually argue that the daily gem pack is bang for buck one of the best things you can buy because you're spending, I don't know, I think it's like £10 or something, you know, it's not a lot. And every day you do get gems. Now, gems can be used for a multiple of things. I mean, if you want, you could even trade them down for blue shards. Probably wouldn't recommend it. But having a big reserve of gems would massively get you out of a tight spot if you're falling behind on a fusion and you don't want to buy things like energy. So, off the bat, daily gem pack, you can't really go wrong. But now we have the Forge Pass. And I have bought a few Forge Passes in the past. I think this current set that's up for grabs maybe isn't the best of the Forge Pass sets. But if I was to get this, it's going to cost me £20. Now, right off the bat, as far as rewards go, I'm looking over here at this Righteous set. Now, it's a 6-star mythical 6-piece Righteous set, which is cool. Now, yeah, it could roll nothing. You could end up with flat stats on all the bottom and just rubbish for the rest. Obviously, it's a very support-heavy set, speed, resistance. You know, it's not for your damage dealers. It's for your champions that are in your teams to keep everyone alive. So, right off the bat, 6-star mythical set for 20 quid. Okay, it's all right. I'm not sure if we've got anything in the shop at the moment which is a gear set. I actually don't think we do. However, we do have accessories. Now, right here, you've got 20 quid for 3 accessories in Legendary. And yes, a bit of silver. So, 20 quid for 3 accessories. Whereas in the past, I think they now include accessories. Yeah, you get stone skin accessories. Just thinking, yeah, is that as well? Yeah, you get mythical accessories. So you're already getting 6. And is that? Yeah, so I'm looking at it like 6 accessories plus 6 pieces of Righteous gear. That is £20. So that's instantly better than the deal they throw out. But alongside that, you've got all of these goodies along the way. You get your crafting resources. And I mean, personally, I really value support builds, probably way more than I value DPS builds. But that's just me. I enjoy content where you end up having to stay alive for a long period of time. Chimera, Hydra, really helpful in faction wars. I hate getting debuffed. Especially in something like Hydra. You could have the best team in the world, you're just about to just do your thing, and everyone gets provoked, and it's kind of game over. That's really frustrating. So I'm a big fan of speed and resistance. But looking into everything else that's in here, you know, you're getting crit damage charms, there's crit rate charms, there's glyphs, there's chaos ores, accessories, crafting resources, more chaos ores, more glyphs, more accessories. You get the gist. It's not the best thing that money can buy in Raid. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it is. However, everything that you pay for is a guarantee. Now, I would never buy the gold pass and then buy 25 levels, because for £20, I think this deal's all right, but for £40, I think that's a complete waste of money when you can just put in a little bit of time. So I would argue with this particular Forge Pass, the Righteous set is really not my favourite. I would opt for something like Defiant, I think is brilliant. Bolster is brilliant, because not only is it a shield set, it's basically a regeneration set. Obviously, we've got Slayer, which a little bit niche, especially when we've got sets like Merciless. But you know what? I would argue £20 or whatever it is in other units, it's actually pretty decent. I'm probably not personally going to buy this one because I don't really like spending in raid. I like to buy my gems, and that's kind of it. But if you're looking for a little bump in, resources, this is actually quite a good way of doing it. Now, just to quickly cover the other options, yeah, there's 5. So you've got Instinct, which is basically like a Savage set. Maybe not quite as good, but then it does have 12% speed, so I really value Instinct. Bolster, like I say, it's a shield plus a regen set. Really cool. Defiant is probably my favourite. It's because it's a 2-piece, you can actually just put it on a lot of different people and just reap a bit of benefit from it. Then obviously Righteous, where we are now, and Slayer. So I'm not going to sit here and say this is the best thing money can buy, but in terms of just bang for buck value, the Forge Pass is pretty decent. So if you are a bit low on your charms and all the other goodies that you see in here, then maybe it is worth investment. I mean, don't maybe do it for the 6-star mythical gear at the end, because there is no guarantee of what it's going to be. But as far as stuff goes in raid, the fact that it's still £20 really surprises me. I'm very much waiting for them to bump this up maybe to 25 or 30 at some point soon. But, if you are looking to spend a bit of money today, if that's your thing, I would actually argue that this is not a bad idea. So, lastly, just one thing to cover, because I'm always trying to be very conscious and to try and teach other people to be very conscious of where you are putting your resources. Now, we are mid-fusion. Hopefully it is going well for everyone. Because it's during the week, naturally there is just like a little bit of downtime. I think the only real events that are going on at the moment is a Dungeon Diver. There's an enhancement tomorrow, but as of today, which is Tuesday, we've just got Dungeon Divers. I think in the tournaments, probably Ice Golem, if it's still running. Yep, it's still running for another day. Basically, take your week as a little bit of a break. However, be very mindful, and this is especially going to apply to people that aren't spending money in this game, that Plarium are doing their very typical thing of just throwing other events at you to kind of keep you distracted, to kind of spend your resources, so that maybe you might have to spend real money to make it through the next phase of the fusion. And obviously we've got the Gear Ascension tournament and the Soul Chase tournament. Now, whilst the top rewards for Soul Chase, I'm sure they're great, there's no boost on Soul Stones at the moment, so just save them. It's not worth pushing for unless you have thousands of Soul Stones, which I imagine after the last couple of events, people probably don't. And then when it comes to the Gear Ascension tournament, we're kind of been put in a bit of a tricky spot, because I normally do them because I really like to get the Soul Stone, and obviously if there's any primal fragments along the way. But tomorrow we have the event dungeon as a tournament. So just be mindful of where your kind of account is being pulled for this fusion. These events are only in here to sap you of resources. So if you're doing well with it already and you're on a good flow, maybe just ignore all this. If you need to smash out a few more Dungeon Diver points and you've already finished Ice Golem, then maybe this event dungeon tournament will be really good for you. But just be mindful, because Plarium just like to lay traps during fusions, and I'm sure they're going to lay an absolutely huge trap for everyone for the, I believe it's Champion Chase tournament, which will be coming up sometime closer to the weekend. So just a quick video from me. There's not really a lot going on, which is a bit of a relief, especially mid-fusion. Never forget that, as soon as that fusion is finished, they're going to start some sort of Hero's Path event, which will be for the soul, for the fusion. So be prepared for quite a busy weekend leading into next week and probably into the next weekend. So yeah, I hope everyone is enjoying playing. Hold on to your resources, because you know what Plarium are like. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, tell me why. And until next time, thank you for watching.